Hello, and welcome to today's episode. I'm going to be your host, the Irrelevant Nerd, and today I'm going to be reviewing Fallout Season 2. With the finale coming out earlier this week, I figured it was now just a good time. It's fresh on my mind. I won't be going over every little thing, but I will be talking about spoilers, so this is your spoiler warning, and I'm just going to get right into it. This season does a really good job of expanding on the world as well as progressing our three main characters in logical and meaningful ways. Lucy continues her quest to find her dad and bring him to, the Vault Dweller version of justice. And on the way, we get a lot of the Wasteland really just kind of kicking the shit out of Lucy. She gets kidnapped by, Kaisar's Legion, and she gets addicted to drugs. She accidentally kills someone, and she even gets mildly betrayed by the ghoul, even though his betrayal is kind of cut short. And then when she is eventually able to find her dad, she discovers he's an even bigger monster than, first revealed. He's using this mind control chip on random people and basically turning them into human robots, which he then tries to put a mind control chip on Lucy, but she's ultimately saved by the ghoul, and Lucy takes that same chip and puts it on her dad, and he gets his entire memory just wiped out. And so at the end of season 1, she had to kill her ghoul mom, and now at the end of season 2, she basically loses her dad. And despite all of this, Lucy remains a good person and just remains true to herself, and that she is just such a fun and optimistic character. And Ella Parnell plays her so well, and she's just super easy to root for. And even though Lucy is the one who puts the chip on her dad, he is the one who activates the chip, which implies that he already has a larger plan that's set in motion, which I thought is just kind of building up that hype and anticipation and mystery for season 3, and I think they're doing it super well. And I think the character of Maximus was much better this season through a series of, deadly encounters and tough decisions. He's kind of forged into being a genuinely heroic character who is willing to make that sacrifice if needed. His actions of killing Xander, the envoy from the Commonwealth chapter of the Brotherhood or whatever, or you see him later take the Cold Fusion relic. Both of those actions have positioned several large factions within the world to where it seems like we'll be getting a more large-scale conflict next season between some of these different factions, and I think that's going to be really, really cool and just another thing to look forward to in season 3. And on the bright side for Maximus's character, it was nice to see him reunite with Lucy at the end of the season, and I'm hoping now we'll finally get to see them have some screen time together, because they've had very little, but they seem like they have a lot of chemistry when they are together. So I'm hoping that that's built upon next season. And of course, I had to save the best of the main characters for last. The ghoul, or Cooper Howard, he almost feels like the emotional core of this season, where maybe Lucy was more the emotional core of season 1. He's on the same journey as in season 1, trying to find his family, figure out if they're alive. But I think that stuff like that part of his journey combined with the things that we see happening back pre-war when he is still Cooper Howard is the most intriguing part of the show, which I also felt the exact same way as season one. They do a really good job of building up tension and mystery around his character and his actions and around his wife and her actions as well. And I was glad that we got to see more of his wife, and I feel like we get to understand her character a lot more this season than we did in season one, which obviously intentional because they're trying to keep her really vague, but it was just nice to finally get that aspect of her character as well. And the change in dynamic of him being suspicious of his wife to then working with her was a lot of fun. When it started to shift that way, I was worried that this particular part of the show would start to feel a lot less tense, but they managed to keep that tension up with the mystery around the character of Robert House and how he plays into the nuclear apocalypse and his company's inventions and this and that and the other thing. And his character also just has really great chemistry with Cooper, even though it is like a tension chemistry. All of their interactions are very gripping, and I love the dialogue. And then as the ghoul, I felt really happy for the character this season when we get to the end and he is able to confirm that his wife and daughter are most likely alive, and he finds their cryopods and he doesn't, like, they're not there, but there's a postcard from Colorado which again just sets up the continuation of his story and his journey to keep finding his family. And during that journey, we'll get more flashbacks to the past. So it's just setting up that build-up for season 3. And I think they're setting up a lot for season 3 that I'm really excited to, see where it goes. And I liked getting to see the character Hopeful. Is so different compared to season 1 and most of season 2. And I just felt it had a very strong story and character arc for all 3 of our main characters, Lucy, Max, and the ghoul, all very well done, and still a lot of fun side characters. Norm's journey was a bit weird and played out differently than I thought it would when the season started. I thought that maybe it had a few moments that were kind of boring, but I still think it worked overall. And the vaults also didn't really have a ton happen right up until the very end, but I think they still did a good job keeping the vaults interesting this season, mostly just because of the progression of Stephanie's character and the mystery around what the actual purpose of vaults 32 and 33 is and what's going to happen to the citizens of the vaults, and like what phase 2 means when Stephanie calls and says initiate phase 2 to the enclave. I think they did a good job keeping it interesting, even though you don't really see a lot culminate until the very end. But again, this just increases the amount of things that I'm excited to see next season. There was also a post-credit season teasing the Max's faction of the Brotherhood. The leader, Quintus, I believe was his name, gets blueprints for, I believe it's either a giant power suit or it looks like a giant robot. The name on the blueprint said Liberty Prime, so I probably could have looked that up and just totally spaced it. But either way, that'll be really cool to see next season. I think for the most part, the special effects look really good. Like, there are some parts that you can just see where it has a TV budget, but I think it looks great. And across the board, good acting, good music, good atmosphere, and I just thought this was another great season that managed to improve on season 1 in almost every way, and the first season is fantastic. And I would say my only real gripe with this season is the season definitely feels like a lot more setup than payoff, but I think you still learn enough and it progresses enough that really feels like it is a minor complaint to me, but if there were other people that bothered them more, I would completely understand. So I believe I rated the first season a 9.5 out of 10. I don't think season 2 is drastically better, but I do think it is better, and I think it is a great season of television. I'm going to rate it I'm going to go with a 9.7 out of 10, and I am so excited to see how all of this progresses into season 3 and season 4, 5, if they decide to keep it going. And for next season, I'm hoping, we're going to get all these action conflicts and big scale conflicts, I think, but I'm hoping that we get to learn a lot more about the Enclave, and I just want to learn more about the actual day of the bombs dropping. I think that would be really cool. But if you've seen it, let me know what you thought down below. Where's your enjoyment level at? Did you enjoy it more than season 1, less than season 1? What are you excited about most for season 3? I will have some more videos out that I'm working on pretty soon, and I will see you guys in the next one.